Hello there, Jackie. Thank you very much for joining me today. Would you tell our audience just a little bit about yourself, your name, your practice, the size, etc., just to get a flavour for where you're at?
Yeah, my name is Jackie Hooper. I've got a small accounts practice in South Wales. I've been going about, I qualified in 2003 and set up the practice sort of after that. So I've been practicing about 15 years. So the team has grown to there's six of us in total, but there are subcontractors that work with us as well. I don't really want to grow the team anymore. I just want to make the accounts practice better as it is. I've got a fantastic team of staff. They're absolutely brilliant and very supportive. It's taken me 15 years to get to that point, mind. We all do. We do a bit of everything really. Accounts, tax, all the usual things. The only thing we don't do is audit. We've got a sister company which is JDH Training, and that's my company. And I I teach Sage in that one, and that's quite a good add-on to the accounts practice. I get lots of marketing from it, and I pick up lots of clients from it. That's been going about 10 years, and it also helps my clients who use Sage because they can come on the classroom courses, and they're a very good match, the two of them, JDH Bookkeeping and JDH Training. That's a little bit about us. As I say, we're only a small accounts practice, and I don't intend growing and taking over the world.
The reason for this conversation really is I'd like to capture some of the impact that AVN's had on your practice since you joined. How long ago is it, just for the benefit of the people listening right now, that you joined AVN?
November. We came to the masterclass in November, me and my practice manager, and we just decided straight away this is exactly what we need, and we signed up immediately. So it's less than a year, but we've already felt quite a few of the impacts. Yes.
That's fantastic. We'll learn about some of those impacts very shortly. But really, let me just take you back to the time before you came to that masterclass, really. Something must have compelled you to think, actually, something needs to change in this practice. I'll go along to that event. Just describe the setup, maybe some of the problems that you were facing at the time before you came along to that masterclass.
Yes, we knew that we needed to improve. We'd worked hard over the years to build this little accounts practice, but it was very, very stressful most of the time. People didn't bring their paperwork in on time, expected us to work weekends, weren't interested in our lives at all, just could they dump the paperwork on us as late as possible. The usual things that I hear other accountants talking about, really. It was a very, very stressful place to be, nearly all year round, and living with stress for many, many years. You can only deal with that for so long before you get health problems from it and different things. And I was already suffering a few of those. So the main areas in our organisation was the clients, because they weren't organised and didn't see the importance of being organised. They also didn't see the importance of paying us on time. So that was another stressful part of the business, was the debt chasing that we had to do. And I suppose we wanted a nicer type of client. We wanted, professional businesses that just wanted to work with us and, cooperate with us, really. And it appeared that we weren't really attracting the right type of client. I think that was one of the problems that we had. We're very organised, but with the clients not playing ball, it's nothing, things didn't happen. Our January deadlines were awful, and all year round, we'd have some parts of the year where we didn't have enough work because we'd ask people to bring the work in early, but they wouldn't. And then other parts of the year, we'd be absolutely snowed under. And we wanted to get it to a point where people were happy to pay us, and people were happy to cooperate with us and give us the information when we asked for it. So we knew we needed something. So we'd already started, before we joined AVN, we'd started looking at this, and we'd started making some changes in the accounts practice. But we'd gone as far as we could, but we didn't know where else to go. And when we came on the masterclass, we were absolutely blown away is the only word we can say. 3 days of proper positive feedback on what could be done, and we realised there was so much that we could do so to turn things around and change things, and we thought it might be too good to be true before we came to AVN. We thought, no, you have so many marketing emails and everyone's going to fix your problems and you're going to take over the world. And we just thought it might be another one of those. But we were in a place where we wanted to improve. And we realised that AVN was the place to be. So that's a little bit of a background of where we were before we joined AVN.
Yeah, thank you for that. I'm curious, how did you find out about AVN?
Now that's a good question. I picked up a book from Steve Pipe. I think he must have sent me an email through, and I had 1 or 2 books about great accounting practices and what different accounting practices had done, and I'd started reading it on my own, and it sounded great, but I was too tired and demoralised to think about applying it to myself and my accounts practice. But I had a book. It must have been a free book, I think it was, and then I'm sure it was an email from you saying that the masterclass was running, and we wanted to get on the May masterclass last year, but I'd already booked a holiday, and I think it was in May, but we'd already booked a holiday and we couldn't come, so we had to wait until November before we were able to come and see what it was all about.
How did you justify taking 3 days, not just yourself, but also with your practice manager from your practice?
We knew we had to, because we were both at the point, not at the same time, thank goodness, but we were both at the point where we wanted to just close everything and just walk away from it, go and stack shelves or clean windows or do anything else apart from the stress that we were under. Thankfully, me and my practice manager never both felt like that at the same time, because I think we may well have just walked away from it. But I used to encourage her, she used to encourage me, and we sort of kept going. But we both kept saying something has got to change. We cannot, and we knew really that with the amount that we were earning, although earning reasonably well, but we could have been earning a lot more, we used to say, for the level of stress that we have, is it worth it for the money that we're earning? And it wasn't, quite frankly. Yeah. Okay.
So you signed up in November, hit almost immediately then with tax return season.
Yeah.
How did you get through that? Did you start to think, did I make the right decision to join right now? I'm just bombarded with all of this stuff now with tax return.
It's very overwhelming. It's there's so much to be done, and it's difficult to know where to start. But I knew if I took the attitude, I'll wait until, that it might never happen. And because we were already in the mindset where we wanted to make changes in the business, I knew we had to do it anyway. One of the reasons why we just hit the ground and said we're going to try and start implementing straight away was because my practice manager was pregnant, and I knew that was a deadline in itself, that I would be 1 full-time staff member down within X number of months, and so we had a deadline to work to. Because we'd already started improving things within the business before AVN, our deadlines were a lot better throughout the year. So quite a few of our tax returns have been filed between May and September anyway. We still had plenty to do. We're always busy, but it wasn't, the tax return season wasn't as difficult as it used to be years ago. So it was just another busy month to us, and every month is busy. So we just decided that we were going to just start and just try and just make small improvements and see if that made our life a bit easier. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, so perfect then. So what are those small improvements that you've been making, and what impact have they had on your practice? Right,
lots and lots of improvements. One of them was cash flow. So cash flow was is always a a problem in accounting practices. So before AVN, we'd already set up standing orders with our clients, and we'd started taking card payments up front to start new jobs and things like that. So cash flow was a little better, but it could be a lot better. So we decided from AVN and what we heard there that we needed to get everyone onto direct debits instead, because standing orders are not as good because they're not as flexible. And our problem was that if we signed up someone for a standing order, they assumed it didn't matter if they asked us to do extra jobs or extra work outside the agreement. Because they had a standing order in place, they didn't need to pay us anymore. So that was a backfire really of using standing orders. Whereas with people on direct debits, if we agree to do extra work, we just take the extra money the following month. So direct debits were great. We linked it up on Sage. It only came out on Sage version 24 this year. We started with that. And it's great because you can just click a few buttons and you can request lots of direct debit payments, and they just come into the bank, and it's just another click then to receive the money, pay the customers invoices, and it's quite easy to use. So that was a huge thing. We've now got more money in our bank than we ever have, which is great because if you want to know you can pay your bills, and you want to know that you can take money out of the business for yourself. So with AVN, I have noticed a significant increase with the money in the bank at all times is a lot more than it used to be. So that's a huge bonus.
Can I just inquire on that? Is that from then better pricing? Is it from delivering different services than you did before? Is it for charging more for the extra work that you've been doing, or is it a combination? What would you say?
It is a combination. We haven't increased our prices across the board yet. It is on our list to look at each client individually. But we started with putting one or two things up, like the cost of tax returns. We just put them up, very, very small amount across the board, but it's a lot. When you've got quite a few clients, that's an increase. We also put our bookkeeping fees up as well. And so certain work we're getting paid more for doing, and also extra work, accountants' letters and different bits and pieces that we sort of just did for nothing before we've started charging for. So it's a mix of all of them, but it is on our list to look at each individual client and make sure that we are charging them the right amount of money. Yeah.
Do you believe your clients have seen a difference in your practice?
Yes, I think so. We've had some fantastic feedback. One of the great feedback we had was on our calendar. Now, one of the things that I was fired up to do when I came to AVN, it was suggested that we all have a unique selling point and things like this. And I was thinking, what can we do to make us different to other accounts practices? And I thought, I would like to send all my clients a calendar, and I would like it to be a JDH calendar with our logo and etc. I want it to be fun with accounting jokes on it, but also advertising our services, different things that we do on each page. And also to put the client's deadlines in so that they'd have a calendar to go and take to their office. They put it up on the wall, and when they turn the page and they see it's their VAT return due or it's their accounts we want their information for, everything would be in their calendar. And we built into the calendar on the front page, well, not the front, the page inside, we built in a list that they could fill in of what they would need to give us, the bank statements, the sales invoices, the receipts, any P60s, any of the paraphernalia for tax returns or accounts. And they could fill that in, and they could make sure that they give us the right information the first time. Because I'm sure most accountants out there know they get a carry bag of something, but half of it's missing. So you start a job, but you can't finish it. So we sent this calendar out to all our clients, and anybody who came in for an appointment, we gave them a calendar just to show that we were different. And some of the clients were absolutely incredibly impressed with that. They felt we were really trying to help their business to be organised. And we had some great feedback from that. We also have been told that our service is absolutely next to none. So that's also nice. And yes, we feel, I think our service is better simply because I think we feel better about it as well. We're not as demoralised as we used to be, and we feel more positive about everything. And I think that comes over when you meet people and when you have appointments. I think, they might be feeling demoralised as well, trying to run their business, and us being more positive in what we're doing, I think it has a knock-on effect.
Brilliant. How have the rest of your team embraced this change, really, that you've been going through?
They're fine. They're absolutely great with everything we're doing. They're very proud of what we're accomplishing. They can see that it's making their life easier. Clients are much more organised now, and they do bring the information in when we ask for it, which makes that impacts on the team completely. And they're all very, very good individuals. They all want to give the best they can. And of course, they're quite happy with us making improvements, and it makes their life easier. It's a nicer place to work. And it's a good effect all round.
Brilliant. So earlier on, you said one of where your practice was at before November was, you wanted to work with nicer clients and you wanted to be earning better, etc. So how would you describe your practice right now in terms of not just the finance side, but actually from an emotional point of view? How are you feeling now? And I think you've alluded to some of this already, but just for the clarity side of it.
Yes, we're feeling much more positive. At the moment, my practice manager is now on maternity leave, so the pressure has gone up. It's only for a few months that we've got to manage. Before she went off on maternity leave, everything was just running like clockwork. It was lovely. Everyone pulling their weight, everyone doing what they need to do. Everything coming in, our deadlines being done earlier and earlier. Getting further and further in advance. With things that needed to be done. Absolutely brilliant. It's a little bit more stressful now because just for a few months we've got Heather's off on maternity leave, but I know we'll get back there. I know we will within a few months. So although we've made a lot of changes, some changes have now got to be put on hold a little bit because we've just got a lot of work to do, and the work's got to be done. Yeah,
that's fair enough. Just give us an idea as to where you are in terms of your AVN journey, and just for clarity being the key word there, the roadmap start with clarity. It's 7 stages, isn't it? Clarity, positioning, value, gearing, automation, profile and purposeful. Where are you at in that journey right now? We're
only on clarity.
So you're right at the very early stages of the journey.
Yes.
And already you've seen some fantastic progress and changes.
Yes, definitely. I know we've got a long way to go. I know there's lots more that we need to do, but it just works. Yes, it can be painful. It can be quite difficult. It's overwhelming, but you've just got to have the mindset that you take one small step at a time. You implement one piece of whatever you decide to do, you see the impact, and then you have the get up and go to do the next bit, really. And I know we've got a long way to go, but I'm so pleased with what we've done so far. I'm hoping to come up on the positioning class, and I think that's next month, isn't it, in July? So I'm hoping that I'll be able to move on to the second stage. Yeah.
Good stuff. So what are just to give us a flavour then, clarity, you pretty much, sounds like you're nailing the stuff that's in clarity and you've seen some great results. Give us a flavour, what's the next problem that you'd like to fix?
I want to slow down. That's my next big thing. So I was down to 4 days a week work. Before the maternity leave scenario came along. So my big thing I want to do is to work less. That is my biggest one, because I've worked flat out for 15 years and, I've worked weekends, evenings, stupid hours. I really, really want to slow down. So that's my biggest one. I think I'll definitely get back to 4 days a week once our staff is back to, our team are back to where they should be. So that's our biggest one. And in the next year or two, maybe down to 3 days a week would be absolutely brilliant. How I get to that point, there's probably lots of different things I need to do. in order to get to that point, and that's what I need to work out.
And what's important is setting yourself a deadline, isn't it, so that you can make sure everything happens towards it. Brilliant.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's fantastic. I'm going to finish on a high and just ask you, would you recommend AVN to another accountant?
Oh, definitely. I already have. I know of one or two accountants, tax advisors that are even more stressed perhaps than I was, and I've already told them they have to do it. And I know the problem is that I'm too busy and I haven't got time and all these things, but like you tell us on the AVN masterclass, either you continue suffering the pain that you're in at the moment and you just keep doing what you're doing, or you make the decision that you're going to change things and you're going to take some control back and you're going to make things better. And AVN can help you to do it. The fact that the AVN group have been accountants, they understand. It's all right for anyone else telling you or trying to say, I understand, how you feel. You've got to do it to understand the pressure and the stress. And they totally get it. They totally understand it. So there's nobody else that's in a better position to help. So don't pretend you know it all and that you can do it your own way, and just be humble and accept that someone else can help you to get it right. That's what I've done.
Jackie, it's been a genuine pleasure talking to you. Certainly to hear some of the wonderful stuff you've been doing in your practice and the progress you've been making. So thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
No problem. Thanks.
How was that for you? I really enjoyed that. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. I don't know if I talked too much or...
No, I think the balance was just right. I think the duration was good as well.
Yeah.
So, if I'd have written down a wish list of the stuff I'd love for you to say, you said it all anyway, so I'm really grateful for that. Thank you.
I do really mean it. I get frustrated because there's so much I want to do and I'm still a bit too busy to do it. But it's I just got to plod now for a few months while Heather's off, and then when she comes back, it'll be full steam ahead again then. And
Yeah, I've no doubt. How's she doing?
Oh, she's great. She's in the house now with the baby, and she's going to come and do some work in the garage when we finish our interview. So
Brilliant. All right. Well, I'll let you get on with that then now. But again, very grateful to you, and I wish you all the best. And I shall see you at the positioning event, I expect.
Yes. Okay. I will see you soon. A couple of weeks.
Have fun. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye.